Hello everyone, I'm Mike Man, and today Space Engineers released an awesome new update, and it's amazing. I love it. Yeah. So then I got to stop using these gestures too much, and yeah. Anyway, yes. So what the update is they extended the functionality of oxygen. Like now, you may notice it's the bottom left side of my screen. The little red bar. Oxygen. It says 0.0%, but who cares? I'm in an oxygen environment in the docking bay of the Daedalus. If you don't have your helmet on, apparently you can't even really store any oxygen at all in your suit. So, but yeah, your suit does require oxygen. Like if I were to go up here and get my spacesuit on. When you have your spacesuit on, it does not matter if you're in an oxygenated environment or not. You will still use oxygen. You see, like, I'm still in this oxygenated environment. Oxygen is high, but yet my oxygen levels are slowly going down. And, of course, it doesn't change anything when you go outside. The oxygen actually goes down faster than your energy, so that means that, that does mean that you can spend less time in space, generally. Except, you see, you got these oxygen tanks, oxygen bottles. What they're called. And when your oxygen gets below 30%, it'll start using oxygen from the bottles to refill your oxygen. And yeah, you can store those in your inventory. They take a whopping 160 liters of space out of 400 if you're in small inventory mode like me. Meaning that if you have a welder and a grinder and this, then that's 188 liters of space taken out of your 400. And yeah, that's a lot of inventory space for this thing. So you won't have a lot of space if you have this thing with you, but it'll definitely extend your EVA. So you can stay outside for longer. So that's kind of nice. How you refill the oxygen tanks. Yeah, you can build them in the assemblers. See, I can just go over to production really quick, and yeah, they're under tools, and then see oxygen bottle right there. You can build that. It takes a while to build. It takes 80 iron, 10 silver, 30 nickel, so, it's moderately expensive for a tool compared to the other tools. And how you refill it is, this bottle, you can actually, you can either put it in an oxygen generator or an oxygen tank. Crap, okay. Why is it not? Oh yeah, it's full of ice. That's why. There we go. So now you can just do that, and yeah, that'll fill it up if it's empty, of course. And say with an oxygen tank, you can put it in there and fill it up. And in the GUI of the oxygen stuff, you see they have these options. There's auto refill, where it'll automatically, like by default for the oxygen generator, it's on, and for the oxygen tank, it's off. But yeah, auto refill is basically it automatically fills up any bottles that are inside its inventory. And then if you click this refill bottles button, then that's only available if auto refill is off, and if there's an oxygen bottle or one or more oxygen bottles inside of the thing that need refilling. If that's the case, you can just hit refill bottles and it'll refill them and then stop filling things. So that's the basics there. Also, ship cockpits have oxygen stuff. Like if I were to really quickly grab a cockpit from here, also like a fighter cockpit for comparison here. So if I were to go here, you can see that for the large ship version of this cockpit, there's a conveyor on the bottom here, and then for the small ship version, you can see that the back has two small conveyor ports and the bottom has one big one. So yeah, these have conveyors now. You can hook up to hold oxygen. And with the fighter cockpit, you can see it's got a huge one at the back, there's a small one at the bottom, and a small one at the front. You're going to hook up your oxygen systems. And so you can breathe. I've actually got all this stuff hooked up, as you can tell, this is definitely very visibly different. It's the most I changed. I overhauled all of my ships and made them work with oxygen. This one, and this one. The constructor, deconstructor, and mining ship are relatively easy to do because there were conveyors running right next to the cockpit. This one it used to contain this is to carry ore, and then for this, the conveyors are like these small ones that branch out the sides of these huge ones. The huge conveyor blocks and the small conveyor tube ports. And yeah, I have those hooked up to the cockpit and the back ports. So what you can actually do with this is, you know, there actually is a strange thing. Even if you're in an oxygenated environment and you go inside a cockpit with no oxygen inside of it and stuff, it will, like, you know, it'll still kill you. There's always a vacuum inside of there unless you have oxygen supplied to it, which is a bit strange for sure. But you see, if I were to go in here, even without a helmet, I'm totally fine. And if I were to depressurize this hangar bay, I would be fine too. So, you know, what I can actually do here in the inventory, like, yeah, one neat thing. These, when you're inside the cockpit, oh yes, I forgot to mention something about the oxygen generator and oxygen tank for small ships. That's the thing. I don't have them on these ships, but you see the oxygen generator looks like this. You know, it's got these 2 ports on the front. Those can hook up to a cockpit pretty easily. Then there's a big one at the back, and yeah, that turns ice into oxygen, and kind of big. And then here, this one's even bigger, the oxygen tank. Again, it has got like 2 ports in the front, so it can easily hook up to a cockpit, and one big one in the back. So, yeah, it's a tank to store oxygen. But another option you could do, I'm just going to get rid of this crap from my hotbar, is you can actually put an oxygen tank somewhere in the inventory. That's what I have these ships set up to do. Like, if I were to have an oxygen tank stored in like this cargo container, then it would actually use the oxygen from that and like fill up the cockpit with oxygen. And when you're in a ship, like in a cockpit, regardless of whether you have a helmet on or not, you will use oxygen from the ship, and it'll like refill your suit and stuff. In fact, that's really the only way I've found to refill your suit with oxygen, is to be inside a cockpit like that. They didn't really make it clear on the video, the developer video, how they did that. So, you know, like it does not get refilled on the medical bay. Well, there are conveyors on the medical bay, and I think that might have something to do with it. But the thing is, I really don't think they're complete. Like, if you look at this, let's see, conveyor. Like, if I were to take this conveyor, you see, the conveyor on the medical bay is actually off-center, so yeah, it does not really make much sense there. Like, does not line up properly, which, of course, leads me to believe that it's not really meant to be hooked up to the conveyor system, at least yet, at this point in time. But it may be possible to like hook up conveyors here and be able to refill your oxygen. I don't have these set up to do it. So, but it's worth trying, like in creative mode or something. So, oh yes, also, I'm still in my spacesuit and my oxygen levels are slowly going down. So I'm just going to go in these cockpits. Yeah, since these ships are hooked up by the conveyor system to the ship, to the Daedalus, it'll actually use the Daedalus's oxygen supply. So, you know, and it's got plenty. It's got tons of ice inside of the oxygen generator and the big old cargo container. So, you know, and then, yeah, as I mentioned, yeah, if you wanted to leave, you just put an oxygen tank in here. In fact, I'll demonstrate that with the tug here. You see, I got my helmet off, and I'm going to fly in here, the inventory. Do I have the oxygen tank in my inventory? Yes, I do. Well, I also have caps lock on, it would appear. Whoa. Okay, I'm pushing all sorts of buttons that I don't want to press. Oh yeah, I'll just put this inside here so I can transfer it to the tug. So, go here, and then, get to the main storage, and then tug cargo container, and just move the oxygen there. That way I have oxygen. And then something I could do is I have this set up so on number 2, I could just like really quickly switch over to the oxygen tank and then start depressurizing the hangar bay. Now, I don't know exactly when it'll be depressurized. There's not really an indicator for that. I can't really see back at the pressure gauges or whatever, what they're called. But, you know, oh, you see, you know, on my oxygen meter, it still says it's high, which is kind of cool. Now, I might lose a little bit of oxygen. I'm not sure if it's depressurized. I'll just go for it. Sweet, it is. And as you can hear, there's actually a new sound for these opening. It's amazing. I love it. So, now, just extend this out. So right now, I don't have a helmet on, still. You know, you see my oxygen, it says on my suit is 0.0%, which is, you know, a sign that I have no helmet on, since I'm not dying. And yeah, I can fly around this ship, and I don't even need to put on a helmet. I'm just using from that oxygen tank. So, Apparently these things contain loads of oxygen, so like I'm still at 100%. Whereas if I were in a normal spacesuit, then it would probably be at least like 98%. So yeah, that's a lot of oxygen. That's pretty neat. Another thing worth noting is now if you have your helmet off, you do not die when your energy is low, which is kind of nice, you know. Makes sense in a real-world situation, just because you don't need life support systems to support you when you got a ship to do that. So, you know, I'm just gonna dock here again. Just tell it to pressurize immediately, and so it'll try to the moment it can, and so I can just close these hangar doors. But yeah, I don't know how much oxygen is in the environment here. Huh. Yeah, I'm just going out. Sweet, oxygen levels are high. Nope, they're low. They're very low. Oh yeah, I forgot. I need to, like, I have been breathing the oxygen inside here, so I need to switch back over to the oxygen generator rather than the tank. Now oxygen is high. So, yeah, that's one problem with tanks. I really would like the developers to add like a semi-auto mode to the tanks that allows them to basically make it and so it does not just collect oxygen generated directly from an oxygen generator, but it will collect oxygen from a room being emptied. That I would love that. And then like when it gets the oxygen, then it will try to use it at the first possible opportunity. You know. That is what I really want to see from oxygen generators. So, yeah. Anyway, yeah. So that's basically the update. I know there are a few other things. I know. Oh yeah, I forgot. There's the April Fool's thing that happened. See the space ball. It can be for large and small ships, and it's very bouncy, and it kind of acts as a gravity cube too. Like it can fall. Costs components that I don't particularly want to use. But yeah, it's quite an interesting device. It can, of course, be colored to just about, well, not just about, literally any color. And yeah, so very interesting for sure. I'm not sure if that's going to stay in the game, but I really have no opinion on it, whether it does, because it's actually kind of fun. Looks fun. I actually have not messed around with it yet. So, yeah. Stingray on the window. That's pretty much it for this update here. So, at least all the major stuff that comes to mind right now. You know, so now there actually is an advantage to taking your helmet off. You don't have to refill oxygen all the time, and, you know, theoretically, like, if you have your helmet off, as long as you have a good oxygenated environment, you can just stand somewhere indefinitely and you'll be fine. So, that's kind of nice. Whereas, your spacesuit, you have to, like, refill in oxygen and energy all the time. Anyway, I am Mike Man, and I will see you all next time. Yeah, bye.